saw you again through someone else's page, smiling in the light I've never known. The way they talk about you, like you're made of gold, it makes my insides burn slow. I close my curtains, turn off my phone, let the silence thicken like fog in my throat. I wasn't meant to feel this way, but your name still lingers in my mouth like poison. Every photo's a dagger I hide beneath my ribs, every laugh a storm I swallow. I wanted to forget, but forgetting means you never existed, and I can't accept that. You're glowing while I rot, aren't you? I sharpen my envy behind closed lips. Sometimes I imagine scratching your name into the mirror just to see it bleed. You never did anything wrong, and that makes it worse. I scream without sound in this dim lit box, waiting for the walls to collapse. I just wanna be enough to hate you properly. You whisper in places I can't reach, without even knowing you. Do I measure my worth against your shadow, and I keep losing? Even your silence is louder than my heart. You're glowing while I rot, aren't you? I whisper curses with a tongue too tired to lie. You're not here, but you still win. I tear myself to match your image. This is not about you, but you've made it impossible to be about me. My thoughts drip like ink through a cracked floorboard, staining everything below. I asked the night for clarity, but it gave me nothing, just more of you. No answers, no redemption, just me. And this fever I named after you. The light switch stayed untouched, not because I lacked the impulse, but because the darkness understood how to hold me without asking questions. Learn my rhythm, the pause between moves, the way I sit without adjusting, the shape my shoulders take when I stop pretending. Plates are stacked neatly beside the sink, though I can't recall the texture of a meal. A message waits in my voicemail, spoken by someone whose name has drifted Far beyond the edge of familiarity, and fell a spill across the floor. A dress is smudged, but I lived each one like it might matter. Somewhere in the way, there's the illusion of being needed. Curtains remain closed all day, not to hide the outside, but because I've grown used to watching the faint movement of light across the ceiling, as if it were enough of a story. Leave the hallway dim, let the mirror stay turned away, the kind that never captures a face without distorting something deeper. Let the questions rest unspoken between the walls, and they're quiet. Whatever answer I could give has already turned into something else. From a forgotten song, just to test whether the air still shifts around me. The television glows without sound, the kind of company that never intrudes. Time doesn't rush or just soothe, it simply surrounds me, thick and slow, like the steam that rises from a cup left untouched too long. When I fold the blanket on the couch, I smooth out each crease, like someone might inspect it later. Not because they will, but because the gesture feels like memory. Let the corners remain shaded, let the unanswered calls keep the rhythm. Let the world outside go wherever it needs to. I am not behind, I am just standing very still. There used to be a moment right before sleep where I'd whisper a name into the quiet. Now that moment stretches longer, no voice, just the shape of a breath held a second too long. And if I disappear between two thoughts, it won't be sudden, just a natural conclusion to someone who's been fading inward for far too long. And if this hour folds into another, my presence will dissolve without notice. The mug will remain on the table, lukewarm and waiting. The room will retain my shape without asking where I've gone. I will not erase the light, I never invited it to follow. And if someone searches the air for my name, they will find only the space where silence grew patient. I haven't cried in months, not when the blackout stretched across the city, leaving my apartment soaked in a nothingness that looked far too familiar. Not even when the train jerked to a stop between stations, and all I could see was my reflection in the window, holding my hands like props, like something borrowed, something left behind at the edge of memory. They weren't tense, they weren't reaching for anything, they just existed without needing a reason to. There's a wrinkled shirt draped across my desk chair, a silent monument to 3 days of indecision. It has become more honest than the sheets I haven't worn soon to be gone, half hoping I'd finally notice something different. My breath moves through me like a habit I forgot to question, a quiet mechanic that doesn't ask for applause. It doesn't feel like life, more like a scene that loops without climax. And I'm both actor and audience, equally uninterested. I used to erupt, tempest loud and fearless, every heartbeat another reason to crash into the world. Now I drift like a low fog over water, unremarkable, invisible to most, still lingering even when I should have cleared. This afternoon I cracked open the window, just enough to see if the world still had texture. The air moved in like a stranger who doesn't ask permission before sitting down. It was cold but didn't cut. The sunlight reached my floor but didn't bother touching my skin. Everything registered in grayscale, a notification I had already dismissed. I used to dream like a painter, throwing vivid images against the darkness just to see what stuck. Now the canvas stays faint, a quiet film over what once mattered. My voice has grown quiet even inside my head, and when I imagine speaking, the words dissolve before sound can catch up. Something made me laugh today, it startled me, as if a stranger had used my mouth without warning. The sound came out clumsy, lacking memory or purpose, more reaction than feeling. I wondered afterward if it was a reflex or moment I accidentally survived. I lie down without ceremony, arms at my sides like a draft that was never submitted. The ceiling doesn't answer questions and the dark doesn't offer shelter, just the illusion of pause. This isn't rest, it's a version of stillness, too heavy to move through. And if tomorrow opens again as it tends to, I will rise, not because I want to, but because inertia carries even the lost forward. Feels curated, polished, brand safe, the kind of quiet that gets likes. I see your plate full, your hands held, your captions dripping with sincerity, like it's all normal, like it's all deserved. You shine like that's the only setting you have, and somehow I'm the one squinting. Today you posted pancakes and a window view. Yesterday it was his hand in yours. The day before, a gym selfie with 600 hearts. I didn't like it, but I looked, I always look. I pass people on the street and they look complete. Bagels and earbuds and conversations. I'm not part of the light, hits their faces and it doesn't burn them like it burns me. I check my reflection in a storefront window. It blinks first. Don't shine so wanna scream, I wanna throw your joy across the room and watch it shatter. I wanna tear the smile off your posts and wear it like a trophy. I wanna be the villain in your sunshine just once, just once. But I just grew, I just grew, I just keep scrolling. Yeah, I'm okay. Just tired. You know how it is. I smiled while saying it. I practiced that smile in reflections I didn't mean to look into. It fits me now, like something borrowed too long to return. The bread burned again. This morning I scraped the black part off with a knife that shouldn't be that sharp. I chewed slowly, thinking about nothing in particular. Maybe that was the goal. The train came late, and when the driver opened the door, I thanked him as if that made me polite or functional. My screen cracked days ago. I told them it looked intentional, like art. Like maybe things are better when they're already broken. I'm fine with it, it's barely a thing. I've had worse. I keep the water level from rising. Dinner again, chairs arranged like a scene we all memorized years ago. The table held stories that circled without ever landing near me. I nodded, refilled my glass, smiled when it was my turn. Someone placed a hand on my arm. I pulled away too fast, said I was reaching for the salt. There wasn't any salt. No one noticed. I told them it wasn't a big deal. I told myself it probably never mattered. I said it with rhythm, like punctuation. A full stop they could step over without asking. I said it was fine. I always say that until it's the only sentence I remember how to speak. There's a pile of clothes on my chair again. Clean, maybe I've stopped checking. I move them from one side of the room to the other, like they're part of some silent agreement between me and the days I keep dragging forward. I don't fold them. Folding feels like intention, and I've been practicing accident for weeks now. I didn't lie, I just offered the version of truth that wouldn't ask for follow-ups. The one that didn't open doors I couldn't close again. The one that could live in polite laughter and surface level replies. I said it was fine, and for a moment everyone believed me, even me. I took inventory of everything I own. One cracked screen, two unread messages. promises, no plans, no versions of me. I don't flinch at. The girl next to me on the train is wearing a coat I saw online. She holds it like it was always hers. She laughs into her phone. I check, mine's still nothing. The reflection in the window looks away before I can. I get home to nothing. No, how was your day? Just a fridge light that doesn't turn off properly. A chair that creaks too loud for how little it holds. A silence that doesn't wait for me to sit down. I used to think silence was peaceful. Now I know it's just absence dressed nicely. What do I have? I have dust. I have drafts of messages I won't send. I have a heart that hoards what no one asked for. I have eyes trained to look down first, and fists that never close around anything real. I scroll past lives with gold edges, everything filtered but still brighter than me. They write about healing, about strength. I write nothing. I collect rage like lint, useless, weightless, but always sticking. What do they have? Smiles that belong in motion, hands that belong in others, laughter that doesn't echo in empty rooms. They belong, I exist. That's not the same. I wanted so little, a voice in the morning, a text with no purpose, a reason to answer a knock. Even that was too much, even that felt greedy. If I scream, the room stays still. If I disappear, no pattern breaks. The world spins perfectly without the debt of my name. I keep a list of everything I lack. I add to it daily. I press it against my chest at night, not for comfort, but because it's the only thing that's mine. 'Cause having nothing still feels better than pretending. Because if this is all I am, then at least I know exactly how little I take up. I walked past the same broken fence today. The ivy has grown thick, and I almost didn't see the damage. Funny how time can heal what no one bothers to fix. I used to count the cracks in the pavement like sun. signs from a God I never truly believed in. The sky looked the same, but I carried a different silence. I remember asking questions with no answers in mind. Somewhere between survival and understanding, I misplaced my hunger. Now I just eat the quiet and call it peace. Somewhere someone still writes poems about stars, but here the light flickers in apartments that no longer care if you're home. And I stand in the slow rain, letting it find the corners of my face that tears forgot. I don't pretend to be better, but I'm not the same. This is the version of me that survived not knowing what for. There are things I never told anyone, not out of fear, just absence of shape. You can't speak what you can't hold, and some sorrows are vapor. I used to sing to the dark like it could sing back. Now I just listen to the way my heartbeat remembers songs I stopped believing in. And I wait for the light, not because it's promised, but because I've learned to sit without asking the sky for anything. And that might be something. If kindness still exists, maybe it lives in the space between not leaving and not knowing why you stay. If hope still lingers, maybe it's the fact that I keep opening my eyes even when nothing asks me to. The wind doesn't answer, the buildings don't bend, but I walk anyway, and somewhere in the walking I begin again. It's not peace, but it's movement. It's not joy, but it's mine, and that's the beginning of something that might one day be enough. The fan is spinning, not fast, not slow, just enough to make the silence move. The lights are off, but not because I need sleep. The curtains are closed, but not because of sunlight. Everything's in its place. Nothing feels real. Still sits with yesterday's coffee ring. I stare at it unread but organized. The bed is made, so am I made to look like someone who's doing fine. I breathe like it's performance, pose like I'm programmed, keep a face straight enough to fool my own shadow. The mirror says you're good and I nod out of habit, not truth. Emotions behind a paywall and I lost the login. Can't cry, can't laugh, just update the mask. Let it pass, let it pass. Don't ask me if I'm okay. Even I stopped checking, I've forgotten what it feels like to respond. Don't ask me if I'm okay. Even I stopped checking, I've forgotten what it feels like to respond. Don't ask me if Don't ask me if Don't ask me if I'm okay. Even I stopped checking, I've forgotten what it feels like to respond. Don't ask me if I'm okay. Even I stopped checking, I've forgotten what it feels like to respond. The walls are clean. Too clean. I don't feel much, but I think loud. Thoughts running marathons in dead air. Crowds lying still like a crime scene stage too well. No witness, no wound, just an empty shell. I scroll past myself. If faking is a habit, then I'm in perfect health. I wear my silence like a borrowed coat. Too big, but warm enough to keep the world away. Nothing ever quite fits, but I've learned to hold still and pretend that it does. I joke when no one's listening, just to test if I still can. Don't worry about me, I've practiced apathy long enough to make it look like peace. Even the mirror believes me now. The fan still spins, the mug still waits, and I still sit exactly where I was before. The air hasn't moved in hours, but it presses against me like someone watching but not seeing. The light flickers in the hallway, not because it's broken, just tired of pretending it's bright. My name doesn't echo here, even the walls have grown indifferent. They've heard too many half-thoughts to care which ones were real. I breathe like it's a leftover instinct. I blink because the body forgets how to stop. And when morning comes, if it does, it will find me unmoved, unwritten, still rehearsing how to vanish quietly. The sheets had creases that looked unfamiliar. I sat beside them, trying to match the patterns with the memory I might have imagined. The scent in the room had changed, like time had done its work without asking me first. I opened the drawer and touched the letters without reading. The ink had faded, but I wasn't sure if it was the light or something in me pulling away. There was a photo on the floor with fingerprints smudged along the edge. I couldn't decide if the blur was from dust or from all the things I forgot to feel. Some things leave by slipping between everyday movements. I don't remember letting go. I just looked down one day and my hands were empty. was left of you, the parts made of cloth and memory. I didn't check for holes, didn't check for scents. I just placed them in a box and closed it as if I was closing a sentence I never understood. Even the walls have stopped holding sound. Even the floor doesn't keep impressions. It's not quiet, it's something deeper. A kind of stillness that forgets to stop. A kind of stillness that forgets to stop. A kind of stillness that forgets to stop. There used to be rhythm in the way we filled mornings. Now the clock ticks without meaning, and the sunlight moves across the floor like it's searching for something I no longer have the name for. I used to replay the last time over and over, the words, the breath between them. But today I couldn't recall what you wore, and when I closed my eyes, your voice didn't fill the space, just a faint sense of having once been filled. The plants near the window leaned away from where you used to stand. Even they seemed to know how presence can shift from something living to something that no longer has to be named. Didn't move them, I just watched the leaves settle into the shape of absence. When I left the room, I didn't expect anything to follow, and nothing did. The door closed gently, like it had done this many times before. I stood in the hallway with both hands empty, and for once it didn't feel like a loss. It just felt like a season that had already changed. I opened the app, just like I said I wouldn't. Just like I said I wouldn't yesterday and the day before that. But there you were again, smiling like you invented the sun. New hair, new shoes, new boy, and of course the caption says not a big deal. As if we didn't all see the filter, the lighting, the hashtags rehearsed like a monologue. You even tagged your happiness like you're proud it stayed long enough to photograph. How generous, how cute, how easy it must be to be you. I scroll, I scroll, I scroll until I see a version of myself I never got to be. Every post is a mirror I don't look into, but feel every crack of every smile of yours takes another piece. You say nothing directly, but somehow it still feels like mockery. I know I'm being pathetic, I know. And still, you get to be adored for existing. I get to choke on the silence after liking your post. You get to shine like it never rained. I get to rot in a timeline I never belonged to. But hey, no hard feelings, I don't wanna be you. That's what I say, that's what I repeat, as if saying it enough will make it true. But if I could unzip the skin and step into yours, even for a second, I would, and I'd never give it back. I hope you're happy, I really do. image, even if it's just the light on my face. Saving on the post, unsaving it, then saving it again. A ritual no one sees, my phone dies, I plug it in, it lights up, and so does the ache. The light from the hallway leaks through the door. It doesn't blink, it doesn't ask if I'm okay. The clock ticks, but only in theory. I haven't heard it once. I lie on my side, eyes open, not watching anything. The ceiling looks the same as it did an hour ago, or maybe 10. The silence grows teeth, it chews through the minutes. I tell myself to move, to feel, to breathe differently. But the air is made of stone, and I am made of less. I blink, nothing changes, I blink again. I haven't moved. I reach for my phone, not because I want to, just because my hand forgot how else to exist. Messages, unopened pictures, untouched versions of me. With the pulse I scroll past old posts like names on gravestones. The blue glow paints my skin in something unhuman. I turn it off, I turn it off, I turn it off, but the glow remains. Maybe I am waiting for the sun, but east has become directionless. Hours don't arrive, thoughts don't take shape. Dreams pause at the threshold, everything and returns nothing. Even my breath comes back wearing someone else's name. Even the shadows have grown tired of me. I count the lines in the wall. My mind drops them halfway, then begins again. Time holds its breath, purpose hides from reach. Moments slip past without a tether. The night opens wide and I sink where it leads. There used to be a name I said before sleeping. Now only silence shapes my mouth, not from strength, just absence of sound and places for it to go. If I vanish tonight, the air won't notice. No outline will miss me. The shape stays intact. I left already long ago. Eyes open, hands quiet, breath faint here. Only the dark continues. The screen lit up again, a name I hadn't seen in weeks. I tapped it without thinking. There they were, smiling together. Her hand was in his. The caption said nothing, but I read every word between the pixels. I sat in my room, lights off, phone still warm in my hand. No noise, no movement, just me. The photo stayed open for hours. It didn't blur, I didn't blink, time didn't pass. I just stopped being part of it. They didn't know I saw it. They wouldn't care if they did. I should feel something, but my chest is hollow. Not heavy, just not there. No tears, no breath, no name for this. I tried to remember what hope felt like. It didn't answer. I watched them exist, that's all they did. And still it was enough to erase me. The room is the same, but I'm not in it. I left with the part of me that cared. He made a choice, she was chosen. I wasn't even part of the question. The screen went black, and I didn't turn it back then. The screen went black, and I didn't open, something meaningless, a weather app. No storms, no sun, just clouds endlessly gray. I used to write his name. Now I forget what it looked like. Was it soft? Was it sharp? Was it even real? The light from the screen dimmed. I didn't notice. My face was blank. My chest was silent. The room was still full, just not with me. There once was a kingdom made of promises, tall towers built from always and forever. I lived there once, barefoot on marble, believing the sky had my name written in stars. The gates were wide open. The throne was empty, but waiting. I thought that meant it was mine. The people in the kingdom smiled with pearl teeth. They handed me keys that opened nothing. They called it magic, I called it hope. Same thing, really, same result. I stayed through every festival, every fake winter, every stage of sorrow. I believed their fires were warm. Until I reached out and burned, I still have the scars. They shaped them into metals, told me payment I belong. But the castle crumbled without sound. No dragons, no betrayal, just us falling like it always meant to. And me, still holding a wooden sword against nothing. They wrote me into their tales, sang songs about my loyalty, but left me out at the ending. They don't remember my face, they remember the silhouette they made of me. It smiles better anyway. The banners still wave, but no one's behind them. I learned to wait, that belief is the first trap. There once was a kingdom made of promises, tall towers built from always and forever. I lived there once, barefoot on marble, believing the sky having my name written in stars. The gates were wide open. The throne was empty, but waiting. I thought that meant it was mine. The people in the kingdom smile with pearl teeth. They handed me keys that opened nothing. They called it magic, I called it hope. Same thing, really, same result. I stayed through every festival, every fake winter, every staged sorrow. I believe their fires were warm. Until I reached out and burned, I still have the scars. They shaped them into metals, told me payment I belonged. But the castle crumbled without sound. No dragons, no betrayal, just us falling like it always meant to. And me, loyalty, but left me out of the ending. They don't remember my face, they remember the silhouette they made of me. It smiles better anyway. The banners still wave, but no one's behind them. I learned too late that belief is the first draft. The kettle sang for what felt like hours, its voice rising into the ceiling, curling along forgotten corners of the kitchen, like a childhood rhyme half remembered in winter. I stood there watching the heat shimmer, waiting for something inside me to follow it up. Your shoes waited by the door with the patience of things that understand they won't be worn again. One of the laces had come undone, and for a moment I imagined you kneeling, focused, annoyed, trying to make them even. The curtains stirred in the afternoon breeze, but there was no music, only the faint sound of time brushing against the walls. My hands rested on my lap, not empty, but so quiet it felt like they'd forgotten how to belong to a body. I used to know why this mattered. The thought didn't echo or resist. It simply hovered above the sink, like a moth refusing to land. The photo in the silver frame had paled to the color of old tea. Your face in it was just a suggestion of you, the curve of a cheek, the memory of a laugh that never made it to sound. I looked, then blinked, then looked again, expecting to feel the sting of remembrance, but it felt more like reading someone else's story after the ending had been spoiled. If I can no longer draw your features in my mind, do they dissolve or simply become a part of me? If your voice loses its shape and drifts into the wind, does that wind become a kind of presence, or just another version of quiet I live with? The cup you left with the faint blue ring at its base and the crack that never deepened, I held it under warm water, watching how light bent across its surface. I thought of the way you used to hold it with both hands, even when it wasn't full. Then I placed it back in the cupboard, exactly where it always lived, like returning a secret to a drawer lined with soft cloth. The evening light didn't spill across the room. It crept, slow, amber tinted, like someone who enters a space unsure if they're welcome. It wrapped itself around the couch, the rug, the uneven spine of a half-read book, and eventually around me. I breathed with it, not in rhythm, but in parallel. If I forget to miss you, is that another kind of healing? forgetting looks like when it's done politely, without ceremony. If I can no longer draw your features in my mind, do they dissolve or simply become a part of me? If your voice loses its shape and drifts into the wind, does that wind become a kind of presence, or just another version of quiet I live with? And if a stranger someday asks me who once shared this quiet space, I might answer, but only with a pause, the kind of pause that says more than any name could. And maybe I'll smile the way one smiles at a photo they don't remember taking, faint, polite, and fading before it finishes. I passed the coat rack where you always hung your scarf. It was gone, but I reached out, and it was still warm. The window fogs the same way did that day. You drew a smiley face with your finger and laughed when it disappeared. Tonight the glass is blank, but I still see the shape of your laughter in the blur. Your boots by the door, I never move them. Dust curls around the soles like snow, too shy to cover what's already gone. The calendar is still on November. I couldn't turn the page. If I whisper your name, will the air remember it? If I light a candle, will the flame flicker your way? I wait at the station where we used to meet. The trains come and go, but they don't stop for ghosts. Only the cold arrives on time, and I welcome it because it feels like you. The neighbor's dog barked today, and for a second I thought you were at the door. But silence returned too quickly. It always does, it always knows. I press your A smile flickers across the screen. I didn't mean to open. Perfect posture, filtered light. Even their background is curated peace. The sound of their laughter circles my memory like perfume in a room I can't afford. They danced through hours I was too tired to keep. The music too polished to touch slipped past my bones without sound. Their feet moved like they belonged to the floor. Mine haven't moved since yesterday. The rhythm they follow was written in a language I was never taught. The fire doesn't complain anymore. The wound gave up explaining itself. They radiate through every post while I pretend to scroll without stopping. I am not a rival, just a version of absence wearing a profile picture. They talk in symbols and codes I used to understand before likes replaced meaning. My tongue stays behind my teeth, afraid it might say something unshareable. Their joy has an audience, mine never bought a ticket. The flame doesn't ask for what. The ache doesn't argue anymore. They light up without needing permission. I watch from a corner of the feed where silence like a second. Another photo, another caption. I don't double tap, I memorize, I catalog every perfect gesture like evidence in a case I can't win. I chase purpose with curated smiles. I chase quiet rooms and pages that load slowly enough to breathe. Some nights I wonder if they think of me, then I laugh because I barely think of myself in ways that count. I've become an echo chamber with broken speakers. Every thought loops but never lands. If this is happiness, mine must be the understudy, always rehearsing, never called on stage if they are full. I am the hollow where dreams get postponed. And if this is living, then I must be a pause, a half thought, a sentence left open at the end of a post that never gets finished. I close the app, but the faces stay, their smiles carved behind my eyes. Tomorrow I'll watch again, not because I want to, but because forgetting hasn't become a habit yet.